Okay, so let's have a look at these questions. Ones like this are lovely because it's just like a 3 marker, so you literally just have to name whatever it is, like the component that they're talking about. So input devices, nice easy ones to think of are LDR, light dependent resistor, thermistor, heat sensitive resistor, or a when you say switch, you probably get the mark, but they prefer it if you're like more specific. So you can have a push to make switch, which is the one which is like gives a pulse, or you can have a micro switch, which is just like a tiny little one, which will just is a bit like a push to make switch, but it goes on PCBs. Yeah. Explain how an LDR works. So with this, you can say something about like an LDR works by having its resistance changed depending on the light levels. And that's all you need to say. You could even, if you wanted to show off, you could even say, for example, if the light levels were high, the resistor could have a high level of resistance depending on how it's calibrated in the circuit. Okay, what input device would be in an alarm system to detect an intruder? Well, this is kind of more like how you argue your case. So an intruder in a building, it stands to reason they've probably either broken a window or they've opened a door to get into a room. Now, an easy one with this is a lot of door alarms are very simple. They literally just have a switch attached to them. So when the circuit is activated, the switch on the door, it might be that like when the door is closed, it'll then push the push to make switch. So then it closes the circuit. So basically that decision making cycle is saying, oh yeah, okay, the door's closed, good, okay, that's fine. And then when the door opens, it releases that switch, and then the circle will suddenly go, what the like the switch has been depressed. It's like, oh no, and now the door's open. So something like that. I mean, you could argue an LDR because if a door's opened, you have a very sensitive LDR installed, and some burglar alarms work like that. They have like a little sensor. I mean, it's actually a PIR sensor, which is an infrared sensor, but it can essentially detect very minute changes in the light level, and then if a door opens and a little bit of light comes in, it can then set off an alarm. Describe how a microcontroller can be used in electronic systems. So you could be writing something here about saying that a microcontroller can be custom programmed to perform different functions depending on what you want it to do. So you could say something like it can work with a number of different inputs and a number of different outputs at the same time, and then the user can program it to do different things depending on what the inputs are or the outputs are. That's a very wordy way of saying it, but essentially it comes down to you can program it to do basically whatever you want it to do, depending on which inputs you're using and which outputs you're using. Name 3 output devices. Well, this should be quite a nice one. These are the kind of questions which are great in the exam, because this is hopefully 3 fairly straightforward marks, because you don't need to explain anything. It's literally between this one and the first question, that should hopefully be 6 marks in the bag. So 3 output devices. We're talking here about like a motor, an LED or a bulb, because they are different components, but they do the same thing. You could say a buzzer or a speaker. Yeah, 3 of those. If you want to really show off, give 4. Just if you're not sure, like you're not going to lose marks for giving more than you need to. All right, guys, that's it. Well done.